lot of countries have been well below replacement rate for a long time.
Well, the concern is that if you have kids, then they'll contribute to climate change, and then they'll kill the earth. Right? That's the leftist concern. Is
Harold Cott series for Wolfie Part 270.
Are you trying to overpopulate the earth so that we can go to Mars and take over Mars?
It's Elon Musk in the background.
Strategy.
The earth is far from overpopulated. Far from overpopulated. So
the earth is far from overpopulated is what Elon Musk is in the background selling you. Now, that's a ridiculous fucking statement because it's like a triple lie. Number one, we'd have to assume that the trees take precedence over the human population, right? Number one. All the other animals and creatures of the earth are supposed to take precedence over the human population. Then we have to also take into consideration land mass, where we're allowed to live. The governments own all lands, but according to your, Candace, this is for you, according to your Constitution, you're supposed to have a right to own land in the United States. And there's nowhere on this earth that you're allowed to really own any land. That's not true. They tell you that you are, but really it's not. So you can say it's a fact, because Candace likes to say things are facts. But it's not a fact. That's a fact in one hand and forgetting about all the facts that are in your other hand. So you see the fact in one hand saying, yeah, we're allowed to own property. I know I can tell you right now, I'm a black woman and I own my own home. That's not the fucking evidence, and that's not what we're talking about here, is it? You own land and you're going to have to pay property taxes on it. If you die and you try to leave that property to your next generation, you're going to pay death tax on it. The death tax is going to be 45% and 15%. It's going to all come up to about, with all the death taxes that are involved, then let's say you want to leave your family a $300,000 home, then they're going to have to make sure they got $100 and some odd thousand to pay the death tax in order to inherit that home. We've fucked with this system every which way. And then if you don't pay your taxes on that, which means that right there alone proves that you cannot own land, because if you don't pay the governments their protection money, whatever you want to call it, because that's really what it is, then you're not going to be able to even stay on that land, let alone own it. But we'll pretend that you own it. Go look at titles, look at deeds, look at all these things, right? When the bank has them, and then you pay off your car, you get your title in the mail, and it still says duplicate certificate of title. Duplicate certificate of title. You're never going to hold the true title to your Pontiac. The true title to your Pontiac and the ownership belongs to Pontiac Corporation. Only companies and corporations are allowed to own anything, not a human. It has to be set up as, that's one of the reasons why humans were set up as straw men. And you're not going to be able to do it. It doesn't happen in reality. But we all pretend that it does. And we'll all say, oh yeah, I got this. Look at the guy that was in Texas the other day talking about he owns 116,000 acres of land. Must be a farmer or something, right? He does not own 116,000 acres of land. First of all, there's nothing on it. It looks, when you pan the camera around, it's like empty land. Not even that many trees, let alone other things. So to say that we own anything, no, we don't own anything. And even if we did, why would we want to? They're material things. It's just stuff. It's just collecting stuff. But we can't go spread out on the land everywhere like this guy's claiming. He's trying to say that, there's plenty of room for everybody to live. No, because we squish everybody down in the tiny little towns, tiny little cities, tiny little areas. And then we have all these open areas that we just grow trees. You're not going to get any clean water out of the deal. You're not even allowed to take the water off the mountain. You're not allowed to take the water out of the sky anymore. Rainwater is illegal to collect in most states. We've changed a lot of fucking laws. Put them into place, changed things over the time, and just didn't pay attention. But anyways, let's listen to these fuckballs for a little while more.
The thing that's necessary to minimize the chemical change to the atmosphere and oceans is to move to sustainable energy generation and consumption. So the three elements of a sustainable energy future are sustainable energy generation primarily through solar, wind, some geothermal, hydro, and nuclear. Although
Right. All those energies are only because they can commoditize them. They can make commodities out of them. You're not getting nothing. You should be able to put solar panels on your own roof, on your own car, and then have your own batteries in order to keep your own free energy if you were going to really do that. It's unnecessary seeing that we live in an electromagnetic nanocarbon system that has free energy all around us that we could easily be using, but we don't. We've never had, they won't even take you anywhere near what it is I'm showing you. And these are the biggest fucking geniuses on this earth that you claim are know everything. Fucking lying motherfuckers, man.
so they're shutting down all the nuclear power stations. So you sort of cross that one off the list, which they shouldn't be doing. They should keep moving. They're really, unless a nuclear power plant is in a region of major natural disasters.
Yeah, instability or something, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, subject to massive natural disasters, because obviously that could be a problem. But if you're, like say Germany or France or whatever, they don't have those. So.
Natural disasters, no such thing as a natural disaster, no such thing. They've all been humanly influenced all the way from the beginning. Candace, when you were on earlier talking on your video about the Indians and claiming that the Indians were cannibals and eating each other and stuff like that, there might be some evidence for some of that somewhere down the line. I'll go and look at it maybe in between the next series and stuff. But my point on that is first of all, big fucking deal if they were. Who cares? But I don't believe they were. Everything has been a lie. All that history has all been filled with nonsense. To keep us all divided is the reason that we did it. But to play down things that we had done in our past, you get mad when people try to play down slavery that existed at one time, still does in certain countries, I'm learning, and then give a pass for all these other lies. So you can, some lies you're okay with, other lies you're not. Doesn't that seem a little bit strange? And when I'm explaining about calling these people out, again, pay very close attention to my videos. My videos, the people at the top cannot call me back out. They're not going to be allowed to. That's how you're going to know that you're beyond to something here, okay? You're on to something. If you go look at what it is I'm explaining to you all to go look at, then you're going to see it. And then think about this as you're going along. I'm not some fuck show. I'm not one of the fuck shows. I'm just some dude. That's it. I'm just some dude. It just so happens that I'm not afraid to show it all to you. I'm not, because that's usually what it is. It's fear that people will rank you out, will pick on you about what you're saying and things. I don't care. I can show it to you. If you choose not to look and you want to rank me out, that's fine. But I know it's not my evidence. I am not the evidence. All around us is the evidence. So to me, all I have to do is laugh about it and say, oh my God, they're so fucking dumb. They won't even go look. And I don't even call it dumb anymore. I call that ingenious. I call that genius. Because that's exactly what happened. We've all been programmed with these false information, and we think that if we learned all the lies, that makes us genius. So, they'll laugh and say, oh, you don't know nothing about physics. You don't know yeah, I'm telling you right now, I don't fucking care. And it's all a human concept. So you can go ahead and have your physics and your lies, and your math and all that kind of shit. Yeah, go ahead. Still has nothing to do with what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you reality. I'm trying to show you what's all around you. This is not CGI. Everything that I've watched of Elon Musk so far has all been CGI except for his face-to-face interviews. But all his rocket ship bullshit and everything like that, it's all garbage. It's all CGI, majority of it anyway. 99% of it so far. And I've only been watching it a couple days, but so far it's all CGI. Everything. The Earth is CGI. The rockets are CGI'd. The fucking, the Earth from outer space, CGI nonsense, all that, it's all CGI. Even the landing stations and the boats and the ships and everything, you could tell they're computer generated. It's not even, it's like they don't even fake it, It's just like Fox News calling out CNN News all the time and calling CNN fake. Well, the zombies all know that. The zombies all have been told over the years that listen, CNN is just for entertainment. It's entertainment news. It's not there. It's only there to incite violence, incite people into doing shit they might not have done. It's the program. It's programming. And then you think that because Fox came out in the 90s and said they were going to do something different. No, man, it's been going on all along. Since the beginning of fucking television, movies, it's all been going on that way. It's kind of too bad that I can't press play and just play through, but every time he says something, he's fucking lies. So it's not even like can't even play his videos. It's almost like when I was doing Joe Rogan the other day, talking. You can't get through one sentence without having to pause and say, what a fucking liar. Purposeful liar.
But anyway, the long-term, the heavy lifting on energy generation will be solar, followed by wind, and you really don't need a very large land area to generate enough power to power, for example, the United States. So it's on the order of
Wind, okay. Wind energy, they tell you, okay, as I explained before, you don't have to be a scientist or a physicist to understand this, okay? Just go look. All wind is created by electromagnetic current, okay? Wind is an effect of electromagnetic current, okay? Remember that when they start selling you on windmills. So when they're selling you on windmills, think about those windmills. Think about your science that you so supposedly believe in. These things are so fucking heavy that if you were to blow wind at them and blow air at them, they ain't moving, man. They ain't going nowhere. They're too heavy to be even moved by what we call wind. They're being moved by the electromagnetic current that causes wind. That wind is the effect of the electromagnetic current. That's what moves windmills. Same way I'm telling you about the solar panels. It's unnecessary, but if you must go to solar panels, then why are you not able to collect and hold your own energy, right, from whatever those solar panels gather up? Because they needed to find a way to do that. And they do have it now. I explained it the other day in another video. I don't know, half of the time my videos get cut off or I'm talking beyond them or whatever. And then some things they just get deleted. Like I said, sometimes my videos just get fucking deleted. It's kind of a pain in the balls.
Roughly a little over 100 miles, 500 miles, a section of land with solar panels would power the entire United States. So like a little corner of Utah or Texas, like they can power the whole country.
Yeah, but why would you want to? Why would you want to do that? Because
Right. So
okay, what he's talking about, solar panels, put up solar panels 100 miles by 100 miles and they'll power up the whole country. Why the fuck would Americans want to do that? You supposedly think that you're free, you believe that you're free. Why would you want to do that? You're sending the electricity back to the pole and then being sent to people's homes, back to other people's homes. In other words, the human population, Americans, do not benefit from this. There's no benefit. It's not like you're getting free energy the way they describe. Oh, it's free energy. It's clean energy. It's our part to save the system. Bullshit, man. It's no fucking saving the system. We live in a carbon system. So it's an electromagnetic nanocarbon system. What do you think, that the fucking carbon's putting them back into the atmosphere is somehow harming things? Well, if you really believe that, then why is nobody going out and looking at the geoengineering that's been happening? Why is no one talking about the geoengineering that's been happening for hundreds of years that we can prove even before they were doing it out of the jets? Why is no one talking about that? Why do they not admit to it? Right? So same thing with the solar panels and shit like that. It's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. Why would you not be able to save your own energy? Why do you have to send it back to a pole and then pay for it yourself at a discount, they'll tell you, but then your neighbor pays 8 cents more per kilowatt than you do? I mean, it makes no fucking sense. And we all continue to go along with it. It's crazy, man.
anyway, so it's really not that hard. The solar incidence is a gigawatt per square kilometer. For most
I'm just
nuclear,
gonna do some calculations.
most nuclear power plants,
Yeah, that's right.
most nuclear It's a kilowatt per square meter, and there's a million square, million square meters in a square kilometer. So, it's pretty reasonable math. So, and then you get like maybe 20% efficiency on that. So call it like net power generation of 200 megawatts per square kilometer. If you take most nuclear power plants, there's usually a pretty clear area around a nuclear power plant because people don't usually want to live right next to a nuclear power plant. So the area of most nuclear power plants that is uninhabited, if covered in solar panels, would generate more power than the nuclear power plant. And then you also the second element that's needed are batteries to store solar and wind.
There you go.
Because the sun doesn't shine all the time and the wind doesn't blow all the time. So the intermittency of solar and wind requires battery storage for continuous power. So that's the second part of the sort of second pillar of sustainable energy. And the third is sustainable transport. So that means electric cars, boats, planes, and then ironically the one thing that you can't really make electric is rockets. And I was saying involved in that, but although you can over time.
Rockets, what a ridiculous nonsense. Let's go over to rockets. How many minutes am I in this thing? I'm only at 16 minutes. What a bunch of fucking nonsense. Hold on. Let's listen to him and then we'll go over to his rockets.
Use solar power to generate fuel by pulling CO2 out of the atmosphere, combining it with H2O, creating CH4, which is methane, and O2, oxygen. And rockets are mostly oxygen by mass. So over time you can make everything.
Okay, simple shit, right? So you can go in your garden, right? If you have an indoor garden, right? It's closed off from the outdoor elements where it's not getting any carbons. So what do you want to do? You have to add CO2 to your grow room. You have to add vinegar and baking soda in order to create CO2 in your growing room. Why? Because the ultraviolet rays from the sun, the plant will soak up the ultraviolet rays from the sun or your light bulbs in the case of an indoor growing room. Better. They're more efficient. But if you give them too much CO2, you will kill them off. They will absorb too much energy. They will absorb too much. And then you'll kill them off that way. So you can either kill them by not giving them enough or you can kill them by giving them too much. So there is a proper balance to these things. But if you're going to keep listening to this kind of shit, you're never going to find the reasoning for that proper balance. And that's exactly what's happening. I mean, look at these clouds, right? These are the clouds coming through. These videos have been up there on my channel for years. They've got 2 views. This one here, I think, has 2 views on it. This is Harold Kotz. That was over a year ago that I did this series. Nobody is going and looking for themselves. My videos are only to show you how easy it all is. Throw a filter on your camera if you want. Go out and start filming. Do your video. There's nobody else out there doing these videos. They run away from it. It was hurtful to their Harold Kotz, to Brian Austin Lambert. This hurts his model, right? It makes it false. All the flat earthers, what I'm showing you, everything I've been showing you guys, just proves that those models were also false. You can find little bits and pieces of truth in the geocentric models in order to apply them to what it is we can all see with our own eyes. And that's what I'm hoping that someday people will do. But so far, nobody. You've been programmed. You won't leave your program. You won't go look for yourself. You guys come in here on my channel, talk a bunch of shit, saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to talk. I can just show it to you, and then you can go see it for yourselves. I'm only talking mainly because I don't want to be bored, and sometimes things just piss me off so bad that I say, no fucking way, or am I going to let them get away with saying that in front of me and me pretending that I believe it, or pretending that everybody else should believe it. It's all a bunch of shit. These rockets, when I get into it, they're fucking stupid as hell, man. They're really fucking stupid.
Basically solar power.
So you're working on some of those problems, but the problem of wokeness specifically, you mentioned that's like a mind virus and it's destructive. And why do you think wokeness is so destructive?
I'm interested in your opinions too.
Wokeness is not wokeness is destructive, but it's purposeful. Just like the awakening, the awakening, the true awakening will be destructive because it's going to prove to everybody that we've been living by lies, and everyone's going to the natural instinct. If you don't go look at the entire system and you just start jumping to conclusions too soon, you're going to be angry at, like, let's say NASA or Elon Musk or certain people, governments. Or you're going to be mad. You can't be, because it's not any of their faults. Even though you hear me bitching about Elon Musk, he was programmed. So now he's become a programmer. So he stepped up in your fake system, in your society. He stepped up to he was put in place by the controllers, and then he now has a programming platform where now he's programming the new generations, and it's been this for a long time. They did it with everybody, Tesla, presidents. Tesla did it. You name it, all the false history, all the false shit, the Bibles, all the biblical shit, and everything. They all did it. So what, are you going to be mad at everybody? Is the whole world going to be angry and turn on each other? That's why it's important for me to get this through to everybody in the way that I'm trying to do it, is so that you go look at the whole thing, the true creator, the false creator, and the human influence. Because what the human influence proves is that it was the whole 7.8 billion of us. It was not just a small group of people. It wasn't just one government. It was not just one race of people. It wasn't just the white people that did this. It was everybody. We've all been zombified, and we've all chosen to go along with it. Even when we had seen evidence that it was all a lie, we still continue to believe it. You don't even have time to think anymore. You're off to school, off to work, off to fucking party, off to shopping, there's no time to think about anything anymore. And that was also purposeful, divide, divide, divide.
But, generally, I think we should be aiming for, like, a positive society, and, it should be okay to, be humorous, we should, like wokeness basically wants to make comedy illegal, which is not cool.
You've experienced a bit of that.
I mean, Chappelle, like, what the
Flower bed.
I mean, try to shut down Chappelle? Come on, man. That's crazy. So do we want a humorless...
Well, what about what you guys are doing now? This is not a comedy show? This is not a comedy show. You got to be kidding me. Because we can just do this. Hold on a minute. Let's just do this. I'll come back to this one. 270. I'll come back to it. Hold on. Okay, so since Elon Musk is talking about comedy shows and why they don't get away with comedy shows, let's look at some of his comedy shows and why he might be worried about comedy being taken out by the woke, right? Let's listen to this.
Society that is simply rife with condemnation and hate, basically.
And no forgiveness, right?
But this is not comedy? This is not comedy.
It's hard. Wokeness is...
You think this
divisive,
is, you people think this is real, huh?
exclusionary.
This is real to you? And not something that's just supposed to be a Comedy Central comedy show? That's real, you think? A car that they put on a rocket that supposedly goes to Mars and back and all. You don't see this as funny and comedic? No, you didn't. Everybody looked at it as real and said, oh, wow, he spent $90 million to send a Tesla car to Mars and back. First of all, he never fucking sent anything. He's got all CGI. It's all computer-generated fucking garbage and easily spottable as the garbage that it is. I don't want to get copyright strike on his face. What a ridiculous bunch of fucking nonsense, man. Can't even do Mr. Rocket himself can't even do a real image of the Earth from outer space because they cannot. It doesn't work that way. Outer space is an electrical system. It's not outer space that you think it is. It's been real ridiculous shit. Now look at the landing platform and all this shit. Watch this closely. If you out there that are watching this video cannot identify this kind of fakery, then you fucking, oh boy. Then don't fucking write to me about Harold Kotz and all this shit. That's all CGI. That's not even, I'm sure there's a place that looks like that exists, but this is not a picture of it. This is a computer generated image of that area. Let's see what he does. As a matter of fact, I would not even go in on the clouds back here because I can tell that those clouds are computer generated. In other words, they might be photographs of real clouds that were then added to this. So what use does that do me to show you all the system? The system that I'm telling you can go see with your own eyes. Even the smoke is computer generated, even though I can see the imagery in the smoke, but I'm not going to use it because I can see this is all computer generated shit. And I can even see that the smoke is even computer generated. This is all bullshit. So why would I use any of it? That's all bullshit. All nonsense. And you guys watch this shit and you praise these people and like this guy, Elon Musk and Harold Kotz and everybody. I mean, Harold Kotz is not wealthy millionaire, billionaire like Elon Musk is, but it's still selling nonsense. It's still selling the lies that he was brought up on and then continue to sell those lies. It's fucking unbelievable. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. I mean, so anyways, here, let me play him again. He's talking about comedy, taking off Chappelle. So look at this shit. Oh, that's good. And this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part.
It gives them.
This is my favorite. I love this. So here's the comedy show. They don't show you the rocket doing a turnaround, obviously, because they can't. They do kind of like do a quick thing around it because it's impossible. It's totally impossible. It doesn't make any sense according to your own science. Your own science says you cannot take a penis and make a penis fly straight, go good. That's why we put wings on airplanes, right? For airfoil manipulation. You cannot do all the shit that this guy's doing with a rocket. And if you did, it would be pretty silly. And then watch when he lands, and he lands it on the dock. Wait a minute, watch. First of all CGI, and people think that this is really happening. They think this is real. They go, I don't even think they really believe it. I think they just go along with it because they know it's part of my programming. I'm supposed to accept it. Kind of like the same thing going to school and doing the math they teach you. Well, I know I'm never going to use this math. I know it's a waste of time. I know it's a waste of at least 4 hours a week of my time to learn it, but I'll go ahead and learn it anyway. So watch this. So the outriggers come out so he can land. Look at how big the outriggers are compared to the length of the penis, right? Now, if you look at the outriggers, how small they are compared to the length of the penis, they're not really good for any stabilization. We all know from being in the construction businesses over the years, even a tractor or something like that, when they put out their stabilizers, even have a good chance of tipping over, falling down in a strong wind. But yet this big, long fucking penis that's sticking up into the sky, no problem. No problem. We're just going to turn it around and back it down. The reason why they did that is obvious. They wanted to be able to save the rockets. So in other words, the rockets don't go to waste into the ocean and shit like that, like NASA was telling us for years. So he's got some new ways of doing it because he's got CGI today that we did not have years ago. When 1969, their CGI was very limited. That's why their bullshit story of going to the moon was so easily provably fake. And yet we had what was it, 200 and something million in this country, and then all over the world, everybody was believing this nonsense. Oh, there's a space war between Russia, Japan, and United States, and who's going to make it to the moon first. There was no, fuck you, man. Never fucking going to go to the fucking moon. The moon is not even what you're told it is. And then here I come, and I'm showing you all that it's not what we were told it was. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. It's so funny to watch them back down and park these things like they're doing. So I did find a couple that were real rockets that were doing it, but what they did was they took a takeoff and they put it in reverse. And you can notice it with the way that the smoke is all floating around. So if I really wanted to, which I won't, you could take the time, somebody could take the time and prove that by the way that the smoke and the dust and whatever is flipping. I thought I was going to find it easy because what I did was I went and found a launching, and then I tried to match it up with the landing of the rocket, figuring all they did was take it, but it must have been from a different day. It must have been from a different takeoff day because the smoke plumes were not matching. So it would take me, I'd probably have to go through all his videos, find that other rocket that matched it because the other rocket did not have this point on the top. It was a hollow thing when they did the landing. It was like, it looked hollow. There was no tip on it anyway. So it would take me time, and I'm not into it. I don't want to go down all those roads of proving what I can already prove to you is fucking fake. I'm just ranking you guys all out for believing such nonsense and believing that outer space is what we were ever told just because they told it to you, and then you go along with it. So let's get back to this silly bastard. Here he is over here. Oh, the silly bastard.
Shield to be mean and cruel.
Oh yeah, that's real looking. And all the videos look like this. All the videos look like this. So fake.
I mean, we've obviously seen it
So
from
fake.
the left, just ourselves. The left is almost this religion now, where they're so serious
then-
and they believe what they believe.
And then what'll happen is they bring people in to the flat earthers mostly will all come in and claim that how fake this is. And then what does Elon Musk come out and say? Well, yeah, I mean, that particular video is CGI, but the other ones are real. Nah, they're all fake. I've been through all of them. I went through every fucking one of them. Even the ones that they're claiming that were the actual rocket in outer space, it was all CGI, fake ass shit. Because why wouldn't it be? I mean, really, why wouldn't it be, right? Everything else has been so far. They got you up thinking that they got you thinking that, and this has been since I was a kid. I remember being a kid being told about the little light in the sky. That was going to be the space station. The space station shared by Russia, Japan, and United States, right? And when you think about that little tiny point of light that was up in the sky when we were kids, we didn't think much of it. We went up on Grandma's porch, and when we got to Grandma's porch, we were told at school, where and when we would see this little light and go look at it, and that's the space station. And over the years, I believed that, of course, everybody did, right? But then when you get to your adulthood and you actually have some time to think about it, which most people do not, think about that. Okay, so they're giving you a space station that supposedly they're telling you is, I believe, 94,000 miles away. So 90-something thousand miles away, I believe, is what they tell you it is, something like that. So whatever the distance is, it doesn't matter. It's still too far to prove my point is very easy. Okay, the first thing you should ask yourself when you see that light and you believe such nonsense is, how am I seeing that light from so far away? Because if it's so far away, I know that my father can drive his car down the street and I would lose his headlights. If he was going in reverse, I would lose his headlight. I don't see any headlights until he reaches maybe a half a mile away, 3/4 of a mile away. And then you could say, oh, well, that's atmospheric conditions on the ground are different from it being in the sky. Well, that's also false because you got clouds and way more atmosphere leading up through to this pretend make-believe space station, right? So it was fucking stupid. That would be the first question I would have asked myself when I started hitting my 30s. And then the next question I asked myself as I was going through all this and figuring this shit out, how stupid could I have possibly been to think that the space station would be setting up billions of lights on the outside of the space station just so that I could see it from Earth? It had to be either that or mirrors, right? So they either had to be lights or mirrors. So why would they put all this extra weight on the space station, covering it with mirrors so that the sun's reflection would bounce back down onto Earth so that I can go up on my grandmother's porch and everybody at school could go on their grandmother's porch and all go and see this space station, right? How fucking stupid was I to believe such nonsense? I mean, it was so ridiculous. But they wanted to raise geniuses. They wanted us to be geniuses. So they programmed us with these nonsensical stories, and we all believed them. And then we went to school the next day and talked about it. Oh yeah, did you see the space station? Oh yeah, I seen it. Never given any thought. The teachers didn't even raise the question of saying, you bunch of suckers, you believe this shit. Think about it, you guys. Where would they get the power? Solar panels were not going on when I was a kid, so they didn't even have fucking solar energy bullshit stories yet in order to claim that's how they were. In other words, why would you bring all those lights onto the space station? Then when you also get home, you got to look at the space station on video, because you go home to the TV and they'll show you pictures of the space station in outer space from the outside. Well, you don't see any lights on them. You'll see one light that they're working with, right? A small working light or something like that. Even if it's a high beam light, which again makes no sense. But in order to see it from 90-something thousand miles away, even if it was only 40,000 miles away, if they claim it was inside the atmosphere still, makes no fucking sense. Why would you want to put all that lighting on your ship just in order for people on the ground to see it? You must really not have any confidence that your programming is going to work, huh? Because otherwise you would just say, yeah, we got a space station up there in outer space. Yeah, we got it up there. You don't go putting on this bullshit story showing a wandering star or a stationary star, for that matter, just in different seasons, and then claiming that stationary star is the space station, right? And that's what they did. It's exactly what they did. So we live in an electrical system. We don't live on this ball that they're claiming that we live on. All this shit has been a fucking lie. It's all nonsense, and it's provably a lie. We should feel really stupid about believing it. And don't be angry at the people who programmed us to believe it. It was all of us. It was the 7.8 billion. You have to think about it as parents, right? As your parents and me and you now being parents. So as we're parents, we're selling our kids right now today on all these same lies that we grew up with, and much, much worse. So why would we want to, feel shitty about ourselves and say, oh my God, I'm such a fucking liar? So that's the mirror neuron. You don't want to face that mirror neuron. You're going to feel really shitty about yourself. So take the guilt off yourself. You don't have to feel guilty about it. You don't have to feel shitty about it. Just go recognize it so that you can get off this imagination land that everybody is in. And it's not just you. It's 7.8 billion. All the crazies that you think are the woke crazies, and then all the center, left, and right political crazies that everybody thinks is crazy. Yeah, just have to face it. Everybody's fucking nutty. But, what are you going to do? Keep lying to yourself just because of it? No, it doesn't make any sense. Let's watch this prick. Is this thing even going? Yeah, here we go. It's so stupid. So stupid. So let's hear what he's got to say about comedy.
Believe with such intensity that for us to make fun of them, for them it's like you're making fun of God or salvation, So they're almost a new religious right, in our view.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Open a techno. Well, you were pretty mean to Senator Warren, though, on Twitter recently. You slammed her, man. Please don't call the manager on me, Senator Karen.
She struck first.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
Yes, she did.
And she called me a freeloader.
Yeah.
And a grifter, doesn't pay taxes, basically. And I'm literally paying the most tax that any individual in history.
Okay, pay attention now, Candace. Pay attention to what he's saying, because this is the whole thing about he pays the most taxes than anybody else, right? So he gets all his money, right? Let's start the scale on this side up here. So he gets all his money from this fucking thing, man. So he gets all his money up here from the population, from you. What the fuck? Okay. So up here, you gave them $10 billion 1 year, $70 billion another year. The taxpayers do. The American people give this asshole all this money, right? So then as it goes down throughout the year, he gets heavier and heavier because we believe in this atomic weight. So his bank account gets heavier and heavier. So now he's got to pay the taxes, right? So now when he pays the taxes, over to the other hand, You're thinking that those taxes get paid here and then trickle down to the bottom somehow. I don't know why you believe this, but you know damn well that number one of the taxes he's going to be paying out of that 85% of taxes that you claim that all rich people are paying, that's such nonsense because it all trickles back up to the top, and you damn well know that, Candace. You know that that's how it works. So even just one tax, let alone sales tax, Elon Musk's sales tax, never mind Elon Musk's other tax write-offs, forget about all those. We don't even have to count any of those. But let's just talk only about just the income tax. So he took in so many billions of dollars, right? That's what got him down here. So now he's going to have to pay out over there so that he comes back up halfway. And then as he pays it out to the other side, where does that federal income tax go? Where does Elon Musk's income tax go to? Does he pay income tax and then it trickles down here on the population? No, no, no. Only ones that trickle back down to the bottom are the ones that you're talking about: road tax, some insurance tax, and it's only small portions of it: cigarette tax, food tax, clothing taxes, all those taxes. Those will trickle back down to the bottom a little bit. But the largest amount, that 1/3 of all your earnings, that federal income tax, no, it does not trickle back down to the bottom. It goes right back up to the top. It goes all over to England, and then all the people that are in England don't get to enjoy it. It's not like the average people of England or the citizens of England get. No, 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 no. It goes all the way to the top. And then when it gets back to the top, then it gets trickled back down again through all these same exact things, to these to the billionaires, to the millionaires of the world, not just the United States. When being the giving us the illusion that America is the leading world power is just that. It's an illusion. Right now, England has been that leading world power. It's almost like when you look back at the Romans setting it up and making all the other nations, as they took them over, killed them all off, and making them feel like they were free. Yeah, you're all free. You're free. The Roman Empire is the most free empire ever. And this, no, man, it's just an illusion of freedom. There is no fucking freedom. And this is supposed to be Mars. And again, what they're going to tell you is, oh no, this guy doing these YouTube videos, he don't understand that we did the computer generated version is just to show you what it could be like or would be. Nah, bullshit. He was selling this as all as reality. They were selling all this shit. So you could think about it the same way you could think about the satellites. Why do they put a camera back here looking at that car and at this ball that they're claiming is Mars? So why would they do all this? And why would billions of people believe it? First of all, it don't cost them anything to computer generate this whole scenario. The same way it doesn't cost them anything to create this scenario. It doesn't cost anything because it's all computer generated. You're talking about a few dollars. A good computer guy could put this all together, no problem, So it's the same thing. Convince the people. Make sure that the lies are so ridiculous, so outlandish, so unheard of that they have no choice but to believe it. Oh, you just can't understand it because you're all stupid. You don't have the education to understand it. I'm going to throw out a bunch of fancy words that you won't understand, and then that'll make me superior to all the zombies that are that can't not understand me and can't follow along. It's fucking ridiculous, man. Let's see what else he's got to say before this thing ends. What am I at here? So yeah, he pays more in taxes than anybody.
History has ever paid this year, ever.
So that's the thing. What Elizabeth Warren, who I totally am not, I don't agree with anything that she ever says, but I'm just saying, Elizabeth Warren was pointing out a fact, and Candace, you love facts. She was pointing out the simple fact that the American people are the ones that made Elon Musk a billionaire. And that is exactly true. We made him a billionaire the same way that we boast up all of our heroes. We put them up on a pedestal and we look at this ridiculousness. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. You know? And then he put this on the news and on every channel, and everybody's all excited about it when it was happening. How fucking stupid, man. So that's the point. Warren was making, was that how can we all deny that we're the ones that may create these billionaires? In this case, Elon Musk, but we are the ones that create them. You got the girl that owns YouTube, right? She supposedly started out in the garage of the Google guys, the guys that invented Google and all that. These are all government freaking agencies that are run by the zombies. They're not outside the box. These people are all involved with it all on their own levels. Google, you got the government out there, you guys that are into politics, Candace, you guys are fight. Yeah. I'm gonna keep getting disturbed. The fuck am I at for minutes? Well, that's it anyway. I'm out of time. Unbelievable. I was just gonna make the point before this thing ends. Hopefully, it'll get into the video. They lie to us about all this shit. Everybody goes along with it, pretends that it's real. It's obviously not. And we just got to keep going along one fuck show after another and pretending that we believe it. It's fucking stupid. I don't even remember what I was going to say because I keep getting interrupted. This is another fucking thing that sucks. You got to go to a studio somewhere to do these.